Hello everyone, welcome back to your favorite channel Drishti IAS. This is UDAYAK and today we meet to discuss weekly PIB. Yes, we are starting this initiative because looking at the paper of 2026 UPSC Prelims, we can see that there's a rising relevance of PIB news. So keeping that in mind, and especially for your UPSC preparation, because it is very difficult for you to compile all that. So what we are doing is, every week we'll come up with the compilation of the weekly PIB news. All right. This is the initiative in that direction. And today we are discussing our first PIB weekly news session. And that is what we are doing from 1st June to 7th June. Okay. So our initiative is that every week we will discuss weekly PIB news. And from 1st June to 7th June, this video will cover all the segments from polity, from economics. For example, just take a look at this index. What we are doing is we are dividing all the news, all the weekly news into segments, subject-wise segments. For example, in polity, we have Supreme Court getting 5 new judges, 73rd plenary session, etc. Then in terms of IR, we've seen India, UK critical minerals, Cambodia, India, Oman, CEPA. Science and tech will have 11-year solar activity cycle, next generation nanomedicine. Similarly, we'll discuss in defense, economy, environment, government schemes and initiatives, and the miscellaneous section. All right. So in this way, we will be covering the entire weekly session of PIB, and which will be very useful for your preparation. So do watch the video till the end. I hope you like it, and this proves to be very useful for you, very fruitful for you, very informative for you. Yeah. All right. Let's begin the session, and we're starting with our first segment, that is polity. We're starting with our first segment, that is polity. And the very first news that we have here, is that Supreme Court gets 5 new judges. How many judges? 5 new judges Supreme Court is going to get. And already some of them have been hired. Only one position is vacant now at present. And now the total strength of Supreme Court judges has come to 38, including CJI. Please remember that. This strength is including CJI. Okay. Please remember that. Now, including CJI, under Article 124, we have appointed new judges, and this appointment was done on the basis of an ordinance. Not an act, but an ordinance. Ordinance acts like an act, but still this was done through an ordinance. All right. Why did we do that? There are huge pendencies, as you've seen, across 93,000 cases are pending, and we need more and more judges to resolve this. So we've hired new judges now. New judges have been added. Next news is that President appoints additional judges. President appoints additional judges. What additional judges are being appointed here? Let's take a look at that. Yeah. So in the powers conferred under Article 217, President of India has consulted CJI and appointed 6 additional judges as permanent judges. Okay. Yeah. Article 217(1). 217(1). Please remember that. They have appointed new judges and president, because remember the condition that taking advice from CJI is mandatory. Okay. For prelims, just remember that taking this advice is mandatory. All right. Is that clear? Yes. Moving on to 73rd plenary session of Northeastern Council. 73rd plenary session of Northeastern Council. Why this is important? Because generally what people do is that they mix this with zonal councils. Okay. They mix this with zonal councils. This is not the zonal council. This is the Northeastern Council, which is a completely separate body, which runs on its own act and includes Sikkim. Okay. Other than leaving all the Northeastern aside, it also includes Sikkim. Now, Union Home Minister and the Ministry of Corporation, that is Shri Amit Shah, he has chaired the 73rd plenary session. Okay. Why? Because they have tried to, establish that peace has returned to Northeast, and now the North India or the rest of the India, their relations with the Northeast India are further improving, and now there is only physical distance, that other distances that were there because of issues that are being resolved. So through government policies like Act East, Act First, Act Fast, such policies were adopted under the vision of Purvodaya. What was the vision? The vision was Purvodaya. Under that, this is becoming a reality. They are saying that Northeast, once known as the region of, problems, chaos, marked by disputes, challenges. Now it is emerging as an opportunity. It is emerging as an opportunity, especially in the recent finding. Do you remember that it was said that now Northeast is a frontier? Now Northeast is a frontier because it is gaining large scale importance in terms of critical minerals as well. Yes, you remember that? Yes, we've already discussed that. Critical minerals, in terms of critical minerals, Northeast is gaining large scale importance. There have been multiple articles regarding that, and that's why we're saying that Northeast is now becoming an opportunity instead of challenges, because the peace has been established under Act East, Act First and Act Fast. All right. Okay. Moving on to the next thing, that is National Panchayat Awards. National Panchayat Awards, where we said that there have been satisfaction that at least 22 out of the total 42 award-winning panchayats were led by women. This was done. What are the Panchayat Awards? What are the Panchayat Awards? Understand that they are conferred annually. Who does that? Ministry of Panchayati Raj does that. Okay. And then they incentivize the best performing panchayats. Whoever is performing best, they will be incentivized. They will be given exemplary, awards for their exemplary performances, contributions, participation, how they are working towards sustainable development also. That is the consideration. We also take into account the SDGs. That's right. We are talking about SDGs and Panchayat level also. All right. That is why the award is very, very important. You understand that? Yes. Who gives that? Ministry of Panchayati Raj. What is the framework? 9 themes of localization, local SDGs. There are majorly 9 themes of them, on the basis of which we judge the local governments. Why this is important? Because in the entire world, India is the only one judging the local government through awards, through their schemes, through their judgment scales, right? Yeah. So now about the funding component, like financial incentives that are given to them for incentivization of panchayat. Through this, there's a component, Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. Please remember that, Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. This is what will be done. This is what will be used to actually incentivize the panchayat. Okay, remember the name. Can you do that? Yes. All right, perfect. Moving on, that NPA to 2025, if we talk about the Panchayat Award 2025, it was given across 2 major categories. That is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Panchayat Satat Vikas Puraskar, which was given to 34 Gram Panchayats from 17 states and UTs. And the second one, and Nanaji Deshmukh Sarvottam Panchayat Satat Vikas Puraskar. Okay, the second one was Nanaji Deshmukh Sarvottam Panchayat Satat Vikas Puraskar, given to 8 panchayats, with 3 best district panchayats, 2 best block panchayats and 3 best gram panchayats. Clear? Yes? Okay. The awardee panchayats, they received financial incentives also under Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. Please remember that. Incentives are given under Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan, which can range from 50 lakh to 5 crore rupees. Imagine such kind of investment, how it can create more and more development. And this incentive will also push the other panchayats to work harder and harder towards this, so that they become the best, right? It is a healthy competition being created among local government. A very great initiative. Yes? Can we say that? Amazing. So this was our polity segment. In the polity segment, we have discussed already. We have discussed about Supreme Court, 5 new judges. Total number has come to 38. President appointing High Court judges. The major thing was that mandatory recommendation of CGI. We have to remember that for our prelims. 73rd plenary. In this, we talked about that. This council is separate. And it has its own system. It runs on its own system. This is what we have to understand, right? Headquarter is in Shillong, Meghalaya. Also remember that. Where is its headquarter? Shillong, Meghalaya. All right. Yeah. From there it runs based on its own structures. Clear? Yeah. Home Minister is the ex officio chairman. That's why he headed this. Ex officio chairman, Home Minister. Clear? Then we had National Panchayat Awards. We saw the awards. Ministry of Panchayati Raj. 9 themes of local self-development, sustainable development goals. 2 categories. Deen Dayal Upadhyay Panchayat Satat Vikas Puraskar and Nanaji Deshmukh Sarvottam Panchayat Satat Vikas Puraskar. Clear? Yeah. Moving on to our next segment, that is international relations. Yeah. Before we do that, we have small information for you. How so? There's a new sale that has been launched by Drishti. What is that? We have up to 50% off on all the live courses, all the online live courses that would contain UPSC, PCS, judiciary exams. And to get that, you can just download the Drishti app or go to the website, add the course to your cart and just use the coupon code Drishti. What is the coupon code? Drishti. You use that coupon code and you avail that discount on your own, on the website, on the app. And if there's any query regarding that, any problem that you're facing, just call on the number 87501-87501. Yeah. This is an amazing opportunity for you to grab. Make sure you do that. And for any queries, do call up to clear that out. Okay. All right. Moving on to our next segment, that is international relations. International relations, again, very important segment. Let's check out what is happening in the international relations. First of all, India-UK Critical Mineral Global Supply Chain Observatory, GSCO, very, very important GSCO, which was formally launched, right? Formally launched recently. The idea was, however, already created in October 2025. Okay, the idea is not new. It was created in October 2025. Now we have formally launched it. Since we have formally launched it now, we need to see that what the purpose is behind this. Why? Because we are trying to strengthen the supply chain resilience. Right now, because of all the global things that are happening, we can very clearly see that everything is impacting our economy, supply chain, demand, supply, everything is getting affected, right? Now, critical minerals are a very important part of the developmental unit, right? And if that is a very important part, then naturally we need to work on that altogether. So, India and UK are coming together for global supply chain. Just look at the word global supply chain. They're not just talking about India or UK supply chain. They're talking about global supply chain. Clear? Yeah. Keep that in mind. And with that, we have launched it in New Delhi by G. Kishan Reddy, the Union Minister of Coal Mines and from Government of India, and Yvette Cooper from the Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth and Development Affairs in UK. Okay. So naturally, our India-UK partnership is growing for clean energy transitions, manufacturing, electric mobility, and all the emerging technologies we are talking about. That is GSCO. Please remember that. Very important for prelims. Very important for prelims. We are moving towards global supply chain for critical minerals, which are very, very necessary for futuristic development. Yes? Okay. Moving forward, we have Cambodia becomes the 9th country for UPI acceptance. UPI, that is a huge star on India's shoulder. Yes, a huge star on India's shoulder. Huge star on India's shoulder, right? Yeah. UPI, 9th country we have who is accepting UPI, that is Cambodia, right? NPCI, International Payment, NIPL, the international arm of National Payment Corporation, they've partnered with them to make sure that they do this. UPI coverage around the world, if we talk about, already there are 8 countries that have accepted UPI structure. Yes, just like India, there are 8 other countries who accepted this. That is Singapore, UAE, France, Mauritius, Nepal, Bhutan, Qatar, and Sri Lanka. Now, 9th nation is Cambodia. 9th nation is Cambodia. This helps the Indian travelers, to make seamless payment anywhere you go because you have UPI. So, UPI is generally directly bank-to-bank transfer, which is quite easy and very fast, right? As compared to NEFT, IMPS, it is very fast, very quick, right? Quite a better service. Can we say that? Yes? All right. So in terms of global footprint, 9th country, rest everybody is there. Remember the organization also, NIPL, NPCI. Yeah? All right. So the strategic impact this will have, digital payment corridor will obviously be a major shift of how commerce operates. Enhanced traveler convenience will also be there. It will also boost the local merchants. You see today in India, everywhere, local merchants also have that QR code. You go buy a simple, pear or banana, just 10 rupees banana, 20 rupees banana from a street vendor, and you will be able to pay that through UPI. You don't have to carry the cash. That is quite a convenience, especially in the foreign countries for travelers when they're going, and generally their wallets get stolen, etc. Such things happen and they lose the cash, then they don't have the currency. This solves great deal of problems. Yes, obviously it is more and more efficient. Yes, exactly. Next we have India-Oman Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, that is CEPA. This has come into force from 1st June 2026. Okay. There are majorly two changes here. The major two changes that are happening because of this is that because it has come into force, we will get immediate duty-free access. Yes, we have immediate duty-free access, which is the largest benefit. Yes, because earlier what happened was, we only had 15.08 products that got duty-free. Now, from 15.08%, we have moved forward to large-scale products that will get free access here, duty-free access in the region, right? Approximately 98% of the products are now getting duty-free access, right? Yeah. So India-Oman CEPA agreement, if you talk about it, it is very vital, and our bilateral agreements are also growing, right? 98.08% if we talk about duty-free, that means nothing is remaining, and even the remaining one will only be capped at 5%. Even the remaining categories will only be running at 5% and not 15, 20, 30%, right? Yeah. So 15.3% and 98.8%, that will be going duty-free now, and this is the largest change. This way, our products will become more competitive. As compared to China, etc., and will be able to enter more markets, right? And the rest of the products will only go till 5%. But is it applicable on all the products? No. There is an exception. What is the exception? The exception is that they have kept sensitive sectors. The sectors that are sensitive for their own economy, they have kept out of this structure, outside of the tariff concession. What are these sectors? Dairy, cereal, edible oil. Yes, these have been kept outside of the scope of duty concessions, right? Yeah. So this is out. Other than that, 98.08% of the products will now go duty free. The rest of them will have 5%. There is certain exception, that is dairy, cereal and edible oil. This is how CEPA is going to impact our economic trade. All right. Yeah. So basically all 945 textile and apparel tariff lines, they will run on 5%. Why? Because India has been given the status of MFN. What is MFN? MFN is most favored nation. Yes. Most favored nation. Clear? Yes. All right. What is CEPA? Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, and this is how we are developing that agreement. Is that clear? Yeah. Now CEPA will strengthen cooperation. Why? Because we will also have intellectual property rights, because both the countries have, the membership of WTO TRIPS agreement, right? So national treatment in the protection of IPR will also be done. That is also important. Now India has a good position in the Gulf market, right? The entire Gulf market, because once you start exporting to one nation, it creates a linkage. It creates a chain where you are able to access the neighboring nations of that particular country also. And India and Oman have always been very good at such relations. Yes? All right. So this is also providing recognition for GIs, right? They will enhance the visibility also, marketing also of India's GI tagged handloom, handicraft products. Why? Because now they are letting us use brand India, right? Earlier what happened was, just look at this comparison. Earlier what happened was, India's testing agencies will test and then certify a product. then that will be transported to Oman, and in Oman, they will re-testify and give their own certificate, right? But under this CEPA agreement, what will happen now? They will take India's certificate and branding and will build that trust that, okay, if you are saying this is fine, right? For example, there is halala certificate, right? There is halala certificate, you know that? Yeah, anything that has been formed under Islamic law in accordance with the Islamic law will contain what? Halala certificate. So if they have halala certificate, naturally especially in the Muslim dominated countries, the product can be extended to the market very easily. Now, if India gives the halala certificate, it will be accepted in Oman. They won't be retesting it. Understand that? Do you understand that? Yes? Yes. That's how the structure is working. Is that clear? All right. This was our international relations segment. I hope this is clear. We talked about India, UK, we talked about Cambodia, and then we finally talked about India and Oman. Yeah. Moving on to the next segment, that is science and technology. Yeah. Moving on to the next segment, that is science and technology. In terms of science and technology, we have number one, that is 11-year solar activity cycle. What is 11-year solar activity cycle? Let's find out. So what has happened is there is a solar observatory, that is Kodaikanal. Okay. We have a Kodaikanal solar observatory, which is known for oldest continuous series of solar data. The latest data or the oldest data that you want, you go to Kodaikanal solar activity. Yeah. They have all the data. They've helped us uncover how giant convection patterns are there of sun, how they respond to the solar activity, how future solar cycle predictions can be made. Everything has been done based on this data. Now, what they're saying is that energy within the sun is transported through outer layers via convection. You see, convection, one thing is hot, then you put something there, the other thing also starts getting hot. The convectional currents that are causing the spread of the heat. So that in the same manner, what they're saying is that just like a boiling pot of water on the stove, within sun also, the energy is transported to the outer layers via convection. So that creates two convective cells. Can we say that leads to convective cells? Yes. Now these convective cells lead to the formulation of small scale granulation, right? Such granulations of energy packets are being created, and this is leading to large scale supergranulation that we call the network structure on the solar surface. Okay. This granulation is what we call, there is a network structure on the solar surface. How is this getting created? Because of these heat packets, there are granulations. These granulations then turn into larger granulations, large scale supergranulations. And these supergranulations are the networks of structure. Yeah. Is that clear up till here? First of all, tell me, is this clear up till here? Okay. Now what happens is the network cells. We have created network cells, right? They have a life of about 24 hours. They're sized at around 30,000 kilometers. Okay. The width of the cooler intergranulars are 6,000 kilometers. This is hot, cool. Right, intergranular structures are comparatively cooler and they have 6,000 kilometer size. Now, origin of the supergranulation, what determines their size, what is the relation with 11-year-old cycle? This is still a puzzle. This is still a puzzle. Why? Because, you know, what we are trying to achieve here, what we are trying to find here is that how does this work? Right? Because speculations have been made that current solar cycle is moving towards its peak, and after that, maybe, just maybe, there will be some sort of destruction, right? So these intense solar flares that disrupt Earth's magnetosphere also, including currents that will damage the lower Earth orbit also, satellites, everything gets disrupted. They impact the terrestrial power grids also, right? If they get stronger and stronger, they will impact all these things and we might not be able to get any data. We might not be able to let our satellites survive there, especially in the lower orbits. Okay, so this is a rising concern because if it reaches the peak, it is going to disturb Earth's magnetosphere. It will impact Earth's magnetosphere And from there, it will keep penetrating, including, damaging the lower Earth orbit also, satellites also, disrupting GPS also. All this can happen. So this Indian Institute of Astrophysics has, found out that how this is happening, what is happening, and what are we to do. So for that, they have come up and said that, for that, they've come up and said that if this keeps happening, we need to be very secure. So there is India's Aditya L1 satellite, right? Aditya L1 satellite, right? Yeah. Why L1? Why L1? Lagrange point. You know the Lagrange point of sun? Yeah. At a point where this will not burn, but will get the closest observation. This is positioned here. This satellite will provide us continuous observations of the sun without, occultation, eclipse, anything. This is at such a close proximity, it will be able to provide us the information, then we will be able to prepare for that. Okay, that's how this is going to work. Clear? Yeah. So the heating up, the changing of the sun surface, that is becoming a concerning issue every day. Clear? Yes. Absolutely clear? Let's move forward then. Next generation nanomedicine. Scientists from Pune, they've reported that gene silencing strategy that will, be able to suppress before the bad proteins start. Before the bad proteins start, it will be able to suppress the entire thing. How it will happen? Let's understand. This nanomedicine is basically for cancer. Okay, shifting the precision strategies directly towards disease silencing. You will be silencing it and driving the genes themselves that are causing this cancerogenic structures will minimize their toxicity. They will directly minimize their toxicity, so they're not even able to produce these extra proteins, right? Unhealthy toxic proteins, they're not able to produce that. That's what we'll be doing. So scientists have come from Agarkar Research Institute, Pune, and they have developed this nano carrier platform that will give gene therapy for breast cancer. Gene therapy for breast cancer. Okay. So the research was published here. They've said that in breast cancer, the chances of survival will be increased. Efficient tumor targeting will be done. Suppression will be done so it doesn't repeat also. And it is a promising strategy. How? It is built on biodegradable mesoporous silica nanoparticles. Okay. Biodegradable mesoporous silica nanoparticles, because they are very well known for their loading capacity and tunable surface chemistry. Okay. Yeah. So basically RNA, what are we using? Small interfering RNA, that is RNA-I molecules, biological process where double-stranded RNAs. Okay, what will we do? We will take double-stranded RNAs and using them, double-stranded RNAs, we will use them and they will target and neutralize the specific mRNA and they will neutralize it. So you see, people generally say that tumor has spread to the entire body or something like that. Have you heard such comments? Yes. Why are there such comments? Because any tumor, right? It has some nodules. From these nodules, it starts creating new one. From this nodule, it will start creating a new one. This is extended toxic proteins. Okay. What they're saying is that let's modify this one. Let's modify this one so that this new nodule making is not possible. Okay, this is gene therapy. Let's modify this gene. Let's neutralize this so that it is not able to create more. Then you have only one cancer cell and you will just destroy that with your therapy, right? That way, the spread can be controlled. It will not create a larger problem. Tumor will not grow, and effectively it will prevent the translation, the protein synthesis that is happening. This translation can be stopped, right? Now, what do traditional drugs do? They just keep targeting all these cells. The traditional drugs that we take for cancer or anything, these are created. They will target all of them and try to kill all of them. But that takes a lot of high dosage because of that hair fall and all that, whatever happens, side effects. right? Now they are saying, first of all, let's stop them from multiplying. Let's stop them from the progenesis that is happening. Then we target the remaining ones, right? This is one, this must be multiplying. By the time you reach doctor, by the time you get the test done, it will be multiplying. So we cannot really stop it at one. But what they're saying is that let's minimize it at least. First control the spread and then target it, instead of targeting all that is being created, just hoping that it will stop creating more. But generally, people who have taken cancer treatments, after a few years, once again come up with that. Because the DNA is still there, because it is still there, the RNA is still there, the protein synthesis is still there, right? We are targeting that now directly. Is that clear? Yes? Yeah. So this is the therapeutic value it has, so that it will be able to stop it generally. Absolutely clear? All right. Now we have another information for you. ISGS Foundation course is also up to 50% off. The dates are 10 to 13 June. Please remember that. And you will, in this, you will be getting all the structured classes, mains capsules, prelims practice series book, magazines, current affairs classes, current affairs magazines, all of them at a 50% off discount, up to 50% off. You can get that on the website. You can get that on the app also. You just have to do what? Apply the code Drishti. What is the coupon code for getting this discount? It is Drishti. And in case you face any issues with that, in case you have any more queries or problems with that, you feel free to call on the number 87501 87501. Is that clear? Yes? Okay. Moving forward, we have our next segment, that is defense. Okay. We have our next segment. What is our next segment? That is defense. Yeah. All right. Now in defense, what we are doing, number one is RudraM-II. Okay. Number one is RudraM-II. What is RudraM-II? An air to surface missile. An air to surface missile. Number one, please remember that. It is an air to surface missile. Okay. The place where UPSC will confuse you. It is the air to surface. Generally, when you are using logic in the exam, you will be like, air to surface. It should go surface to air. Right? It feels like that. But this has the capacity of going from air to surface. You carry it in an aircraft, then launch it from air and drop it wherever you want. That is the speciality of it. Air to surface. Please remember that. Developed by DRDO plus IAF, together have conducted successful testing of RudraM air to surface missile, which is the airborne from an airborne platform. And the platform that they used was in Odisha. Okay. From where did they do the testing? They did the testing from Odisha. All right. Yeah. So what it will do? It will detect, track, and then destroy. Okay. How it will do that? It will destroy the enemy radar, communication sites, radio frequency sources, anything can be, by homing in on the electromagnetic radiation. Why? Because whatever your defense system be, that will be emitting some sort of radiation. This missile will be able to detect this radiation, target it specifically, and then go and destroy it. This way, during a fight, if we just go and destroy their communication lines, wouldn't that be an added advantage? Yes. Remember in 1857 revolt, the first thing Britishers did was cut off the telegrams. If they're not able to communicate to each other quickly, the spread won't be large. And that's what happened. In every different places, we had different timings of starting of the revolt, and that way they were able to suppress it very easily. Similarly, here we are saying cut down the communication lines, cut down the radar systems. The radar system will be able to detect our missiles. Why do we have a radar system? Their radar system is standing. If our aircraft is coming, it will be able to detect it. They will be able to attack it. Now, if their radar system is destroyed, we can just enter into the surface right away without getting detected, right? That gives us the advantage. So in terms of security, this is a very great addition to our structure. Yes? Can we say that? Yeah, anti-radiation missile. So what are we calling it? Anti-radiation missile. What are we calling it? Anti-radiation missile. Please remember that. Please remember that. All right. Moving forward, next is Project UDAYAK. What do we have? Project UDAYAK. The name itself is important. You know, UPSC has a tendency of saying, give us the name of the project and just give us 4 options and like, what is this related to? So let's find out what UDAYAK is. Our Border Roads organization that celebrated 37th Rising Day of the project UDAYAK on June 1st. Where did they celebrate this? Dumduma, Assam. Okay. What is this? This has been entrusted with 1457 kilometers of road network, Project UDAYAK, which has been doing the development as well as maintenance of all the strategic roads. What are strategic roads now? That link such areas which are important either for trade and more importantly for our security, right? That are strategic roads. So they are maintaining the strategic roads in the region of easternmost regions of Arunachal Pradesh, parts of Assam that have the chances of infiltration, that have security concerns. They are managing that. Okay. So the project is playing a very important role. How? In the areas along line of actual control and Indo-Myanmar border. Indo-Myanmar border, which is obviously very sensitive because of illegal migrations, because of illegal trade that has been happening. Very important, right? So this is a critical position, critical area and needs special protection. So it is undertaking construction of roads also, fencing also in terms of national security and accessibility. That is UDAYAK. Clear? Yes? All right. This was it about our defense development. This was it about our segment of defense development. Moving on, we are talking about economy development. Okay? Yeah. Okay, just remember that for a second. This is completely under the administrative control of ministry. Okay. Can you guess which ministry this would be under the control of? Which ministry? Obviously, Ministry of Defense. Obviously, Ministry of Defense. Ever since 2015, this has been working under the ministry. Okay. Please remember that. Moving on to economy. Moving on to economy. Shall we? Okay. So we have land port management system. So Home Minister, has launched the land port management system. Why? Because they're committed towards smart border management. Everywhere, smart border management. How are they doing? They're training villages. They're training entire villages to make sure they act as border filtrations. They act as border filtrations, protective layer, so that whenever threat comes, they are ready to take up on it. Yeah. So in that series, there's this another initiative that is cross-border trade and passenger movement. In terms of that, LPMS will be digital platform to integrate operations across land, ports, everywhere. Right. We will have all the details in a unified system. So cross-checking any vehicle that is coming, anybody that is coming, any trade shipment that is coming, it will get easier. So they will have secure real-time exchange of logistics, regulatory information. So information will be passed that something like this is going to come. Keep an eye on it. Yeah. That way we will be able to ensure better security. Can we do that? Yeah. Next, end-to-end digital workflow will be there for cargo and passenger processing also. Slot booking, payment, tracking, everything will be done under single window clearance. We are developing a proper portal for that. Yeah. Digitalizing the entire system in a unified manner for both land and port. Is that clear? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So another thing that you see here is that, do we have a land port authority? Yes. Do we have a land port authority? Land Ports Authority of India. Yes, we have LPAI that will be managing all this, that will be working through this. Please remember, this is a statutory body. Okay. This is a statutory body. The LPAI is a statutory body created under the Land Port Authority Act 2010. The Act of 2010 gives us the statutory status. Which ministry? Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay. Just remember this additional fact, and we are moving towards Save the Farm campaign. All right. Okay. Khet Bachao Abhiyan. What is this? Khet Bachao Abhiyan. This Abhiyan has been launched under the aegis of Agriculture Farmer Welfare Ministry. Why they're saying that? we have come into the practice of using so many pesticides, so many, extra chemical fertilizers, etc., that now we are overusing it. Because of that, we are losing our land, the quality of soil. So we need to take a step back. How? We need to make sure that proper amount is given, proper amount of pesticide is used, proper amount of fertilizers are used, so that the soil doesn't bear the burden of it, right? That's why we're saying that we need to move towards less. So we have balanced fertilizers. We have balanced fertilizer use so that soil fertility is maintained and sustainable farming practices can be carried out. Yeah. For that, we have Save the Farm campaign. Now, how is this going to work? What will we do? We already have soil health card. There we can test the quality of the soil and the requirement of fertilizers and pesticides. Can we do that under the soil health card? Yes. Now, other than that, it will become very simple that what we are doing is we will create structures where proper information will be given to the farmer, right? So that they know what amount of pesticide they need to use, what amount of fertilizer they need to use on what crop, during what season, so that this can be turned into sustainable farming. Clear? Yeah, this is our campaign. Moving forward to GSEC market and foreign portfolio investment. The government security market, we are trying to strengthen our global investment destination. We're trying to become a global investment destination so that our capital market runs very nice. For that, we are trying to bring individual residents outside of India, they should bring in more and more investment, right? So we are giving them a fully accessible route. What are we giving them? Fully accessible route that if you want to invest, yeah, you come with foreign portfolio investors or persons residing outside of India. We want them to give us stable long-term capital, right? So there have been initiatives through which we are trying to ensure that. So we are giving them fully accessible route. Okay. What are we giving them? We are saying that if individuals come here under Foreign Exchange Management Act, we have liberalized their investment. We have liberalized the methods through which they can bring back the money. Earlier, it was very stringent because of the whole black money coming back. But right now, we need investment. So we have liberalized this and made sure that very easily they can bring their investment into India, right? Secondly, reviewing the regulatory framework of FPI investment in the securities. We have reviewed that so that we make it more favorable, right? Yeah. Third important thing that we have done is that we've exempted interest and capital gains on GSEC from the tax. Yeah. Government securities, if you buy government securities, long-term government securities, interest, capital gain, tax, everything you will get an exemption from. Yeah. That way people will invest more into government securities. If they do that, government will have more money. And if government has more money, naturally country's economy is going to get a boost. Is that not? Exactly. So we are giving them a fully accessible route that we are making it very easy. Dedicated channel has been introduced by RBI. What has been done? A dedicated channel has been introduced by RBI. Who has introduced this? RBI. What is it? Fully accessible route. Fully accessible route by RBI, which is a dedicated channel for non-residents. So we enable them, we can enable these non-residents to invest in specific government bonds without any macro-prudential caps. Earlier there were caps, how much you can give in government, how much you can give in the market because of the volatility. Now we are not putting the caps. We are just saying that you come and invest through this direct channel that RBI will govern and you won't have to go through all that long process. Yeah. There will be no large scale scrutiny here. There will be no caps here. You come and invest in the government commodities and we are more than happy to take your investment. Yeah. Through this direct channel that is being governed by RBI. Is that clear? Yeah. Another thing is retail direct scheme. Another thing we are doing here is retail direct scheme. What is that? You see the name retail and direct. What is that? Domestic retail investors can open gilt securities account now. Domestic retails can open gilt securities account and from there they can buy the government securities. Yes, directly with the RBI they can do this, buy government bonds in primary and secondary market, both. In primary and secondary market, both, they will get the account through RBI and they will be able to, make investment in primary as well as secondary market. Is that clear? Through this, we are bringing more and more money into the country, more and more investment in the government bonds and securities. Is that clear? All right, that is about it. Moving on to the base year revision of wholesale price index. Okay, so recently we have revised the base year for a lot of things, right? You see repo rate and everything, a lot of things have been revised. So the revision of base year for WPI from 2011-12 to 22-23, right? This has been approved and finally it is applicable now, and they will accordingly release the revised series, and they will also release new series of output producer price, producer price index, trial input producer price index, service producer price index of 7 services, that is banking, security, transaction, insurance, management of pension funds, railway, air passenger and telecom. Okay, so all the data will be re-released with the new base year, that is 2022-23. Is that clear? Yes, that is the base revision, the structural shift we have done in this, right? Yeah. Why we are doing this? We are eliminating the cascading effect. We are eliminating the cascading effect from the older methods. Clear? Yeah. All right. Then next we have is Mission Sanajori. Okay. We have Mission Sanajori that has been developed in the northeastern area. Minister of Development of Northeastern Region has launched Sanajori for Assam Moga Silk USP. Assam's Moga Silk USP. It will be a cluster-based initiative that will transfer Assam's unique Moga Silk sector, will give them better trade opportunities, global competitiveness, higher value. And in that, why Moga Silk? Because this is important. You remember PM visiting Italy and that shawl, the shawl that was given, the odhni that was given, yeah, the banner that was given, Moga Silk. It was of Moga Silk. And why? Because we are giving it identification, and India's first GI tagged silk. India's first GI tagged silk. This is India's first GI tagged silk. Can you remember that for me? Yes, India's first GI tagged silk. Yes. Suppose 2.6 lakh rarer weaver families in Assam, obviously boosting the economy. However, it is has rarity, still global recognition is lacking. So we need to work on that. If we make export-oriented Moga Silk economy, that way we will be able to give it a global recognition. Yes, that's why we have Mission Sanajori. Is that clear? Yes? Yeah. All right. Let's move forward. We have our new IIP series. We have our new IIP series. What is the new IIP series? The MOSPI has revised the base year for that also. Now the base year for this is also 2022-23. In the industrial sector, revised series have given updated item basket also. Right? They've given us an updated item basket, and they're changing the structures also and activities across the economy also. What is the revised series? Just understand that. Just understand that. Right now, what we have is the ministry control. They've fully administered, the sectors to the ministries, and directly in the index, we can see the core industries have weightage. How many of the core industries are there in this? 8 core industries are there. What is their weightage? 40.27%. Please remember that, 40.27%. 8 core industries are here. Items included in the IIP. They have items included in the IIP. What is their relative weight? What is their relative weight? We have, first of all, the highest is refinery products. Okay, the highest weightage is of refinery products. Please remember that. After refinery products, we can see electricity steel, coal, then crude oil. Everybody thinks crude oil would be the supreme. No, crude oil is here. Then natural gas, cement, and then finally fertilizer. This is their share. This is the sequence of their share, 8 core industries. Is that clear? Yeah. Base year has been revised, new data will be released, and then we will discuss that again. For now, moving on to environment series. Ready? Shall we move on to environment series? Yes. We've covered polity, economy, defense, IR. We've done all that. Science and tech. Okay. Moving on to environment. All right. Number 1, India's 100th Ramsar site. India's 100th Ramsar site, which is a very popular, very important topic, right? Why so? Jai Prakash Narayan Bird Sanctuary has become the 100th site, which was earlier known as Surhetal, which is located in Balia, UP, and is India's 100th Ramsar site. Why is it so important? Yes, tell me, why is it so important? Because the site in itself is quite special. Why is it quite special? It is listed here because the entire structure of this is important because of the migratory birds. Number 1, it is because of the migratory birds that it is important. Other than that, it is also important because of its location. What is the location? It is in Balia, that is fine, but other than that, it has strategic location that is forming an oxbow lake. Please remember that. Where is it forming oxbow lake? In the floodplains of Ganga and Saryu rivers. Floodplain of Ganga and Saryu river. Okay. Yeah. Can you remember this? Ganga and Saryu river. And it has dynamic hydrology, obviously. Yeah. Clear? Yeah. It has a Kathar Nala connection also. Okay. Remember the Kathar Nala that actually connects. It is a 23-kilometer outlet channel. Kathar Nala connects the lake to the Ganga river. Right? Lake to Ganga. There is a Kathar Nala. Can you remember that? Yes. Oxbow Lake, middle of the Ganga plains. Ganga river, major river, please remember Ganga river. It is the 100th Ramsar site, very rich in biodiversity, right? Yeah. Why it is strategically important? It is the critical node of Central Asian flyway. Critical node among the Central Asian flyway. Central Asian flyway. Is that clear? Yes. That is our 100th Ramsar site. Clear? Yes? Okay. Moving on to the next news that we have, E85. Okay. What is E85? E85, the ethanol blending petroleum that has been in news constantly. E85 means 85% of ethanol, rest 15% of petroleum, right? That is the combination that we are seeing right now. Whether that is viable or not has been a question. This blending has been done because Brazil had already experimented it and it was successful. So India also adopted it. Why? Because of the oil crisis. Simple, right? So now we'll require very less part of petroleum and large scale of ethanol. But ethanol is indigenously built through sugarcane, jaggery, etc. So ethanol is indigenously built. Plus, this combination is good for environment. Yes, strangely, this is very good for environment because the combustion level is such that it does not cause much pollution. So it will be good. But can you put E85 in all the cars that are present today, all the vehicles that are present today? You should have flex fuel vehicle, particularly flex fuel vehicle, where your engine, in the flex fuel vehicle, what happens is the engine has special construction where it is able to identify the kind of oil that has come. It will identify and then lead the combustion accordingly, right? And it is also designed to survive the corrosiveness of ethanol. Okay, that's why you need to have FFV, only then you can put in E85. That's why government has said that we will construct separate stations for E85. It will not be available in all the petrol pumps here. Okay, and your vehicles will also have special recognition that whether it can survive the fuel or not. Is that clear? Yeah, that is E85 for you. E85, high ethanol blending comprising perfume, not fuel, sorry, not perfume. Okay, so it aims to facilitate that FFVs. Okay, yeah. So E20 to 100 we are going without restricting consumers for single blend. Yeah, simple. Yeah. So in New Delhi, a plant has already been launched. In New Delhi. Natural gas Shri Hardeep Singh Puri launched E85 fuel Indian oil retail outlet. It is already selling. There are some components, some engines that are already compatible. They can get that. And it is very cheap also. Comparatively, it is very cheap. At least 20 rupees per liter cheap. At least 20 rupees per liter cheap. That is how you'll get it. Okay. Understood? Clear? Okay. Next article, that is world's largest inhabited river island. New study that has said that the vegetation history of Majuli Island. The Majuli Island of Assam, that is the world's largest inhabited riverine island. It is significant. Why is it significant? Because it is the center of Neo-Vaishnavite culture, reformist Vaishnavite movements. It has seen large-scale changes here, right? Because of that, it is quite important, and we are focusing on that now. Okay, river island. What is the dynamic here? Majuli Island. Problem is that its footprint is shrinking. Its footprint is shrinking, and we need to preserve that. That is the problem. Island footprint shrinking. Okay, please remember that. Where is it? It is in Assam. Why it is important? Culturally, it is important. Southward migration is happening. Avulsion of Brahmaputra channels are happening. Because of that, backline erosion during seasonal monsoon floods, people are moving away, and because of that, what we see is the footprint is shrinking. Okay. Yeah, that's why this has been in news. And despite the global importance in acquiring UNESCO tentative status of cultural significance, it doesn't have comprehensive long-term paleologic reconstruction. Nothing has been done so far for the large-scale preservation. And if we talk about the geography of it, it is between the Brahmaputra river to the south, and in the east we'll see that Subansiri river west. Okay, that is a branch of the Brahmaputra to the north. That has also been done, but there is river bank erosion. Because of erosion, people are moving to the southward. Because of that, lack of footprint is here. Yeah. That is about Majuli Island. Is that clear? Yes, absolutely clear. All right, this was our environment section. Moving on to our last segment, that is government schemes and initiatives. Clear? Let's begin. Number one, e-Jagriti platform. Number one is e-Jagriti platform. Okay, what is this e-Jagriti platform? Let's find out about this more. The Department of Consumer Affairs has given e-Jagriti platform. What will it do? They've been awarded the Silver Award category. Silver Award under the category of Government Process Re-Engineering. Okay, yeah, this was launched in 2025. It unified 4 legacy applications: OCMS, e-Dakhil, NCDRC, CMS, and Confinet. Right? They did this in single AI-enabled paperless platform. They merged these 4 agendas into one, and since then it has facilitated over 2.29 lakh consumers in filing cases, disposal of the cases, achieving overall disposal rate of 90.75%. So we're getting justice seamlessly. That is e-Jagriti portal for you. Clear? Yeah. E-Dakhil means in electronic format you can enter your case. E-Dakhila. Clear? Yes. That is e-Jagriti platform for you. Moving forward, Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Now, West Bengal has become the 36th state or UT to implement Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. The Yojana that covers around 5 lakh annual health coverage. 12 crore families are already covered under this. And the scale of impact, we can see that many hospitals are included in this, and around 1.48 lakh crore treatments are included in this. This is world's largest public healthcare scheme. That's why it is very popular. World's largest public healthcare scheme. Yes. And more importantly, even the scheme takes cashless transactions. Yes, it takes cashless transactions, paperless treatment, and digitally everything is done. Your data is recorded and you are given the treatment. Okay, that's why this is very important. News, why was it in news? Because of West Bengal. Clear? Yes, all right. Next is Panchayat Advancement Index. We just discussed a little about it in the Panchayat Awards, right? So we have an index in which we are measuring what? The performance of local government. We are measuring the performance of local government in this index, in the Panchayati Raj, and many of them have been selected for Gold Award, National Award, etc. Now this is India's first data that will give us a ranking of local governments, and not just India, in the world also. This is the first time somebody is doing this for local government. So in this, they are checking all the 17 sustainable development goals and seeing how you are performing. In terms of that, they have been given a ranking. Okay, yeah. In terms of that, rural drinking water and sanitation, literacy, gender discrimination, all that is catered into, and then you are awarded. Yes, exactly. That is our Panchayat Advancement Index, and the rankings are created on the basis of this. The second version has been launched already. The second version has been launched, and in that we are obviously seeing major panchayats are performing very well, and they're trying to figure out how to, develop a better correlation. And in terms of e-governance award, in terms of panchayat awards, they are getting benefits. Yeah, exactly. So now, in terms of this, there is one question. In terms of this, there is one question that you have to answer in the comment section. Which panchayat or which state at least got the best rankings, got the highest position in the index? You tell us in the comment section. Okay. All right. Moving on to the miscellaneous section. Before we do that, we have an information for you. Another information. All the mains courses, including optional courses, are also on up to 50% off from 10 to 13 June. Please remember the date. To avail that, you go to the website, you go to the app, use the code Drishti to avail the discount. If you face any problem, you can call on this number that is given, 87501 87501. Clear? Yes? All right. Moving on to the first topic of miscellaneous section, that we have UN Military Gender Advocate of the Year Award. This has been conferred upon Major Abhilasha Barak, right? This has been given to Abhilasha Barak. Abhilasha Barak, who has had significant achievements throughout India, throughout the international platform also, because she was working in UN Peacekeeping Force as Indian delegate. She was, accustomed in Liberia for now, and even in Lebanon, and there she has been working. Okay, the first women-led unit we have sent to Liberia. When did we do that? In 2000. Clear? Now she has been engaged in the Lebanon functions, where obviously it is a very crucial area. There she worked for the development of women, educating them about the rights and asking them to just, fight for their rights, fight for their developments. And that's what she has been doing there, teaching everybody. Yeah, that's why she has been awarded. She has been, given this recognition, because earlier also in India also she has had large, developments, where she performed great in all the commands she was given, right? In all the commands that she was given, she worked great on that. Gender focal point, that was the point why she was given the award of Gender Advocate of the Year. I hope this is clear. Yes, can you remember the name? Abhilasha Barak. Yes, Abhilasha Barak. Will you remember this name? Yes. Yeah. So Major Barak, UN award. That's it. Gender Advocate Award. Now, other than that, she has also been given Indian Army's first women combat aviator. She is also Indian Army's first women combat aviator. Please remember that. Women combat aviator. First, Indian Army's first women combat aviator, helicopter pilot. Right? aviator, helicopter pilot. She was the first woman from India to do that. Combat helicopter pilot. She already qualified in May 2022. Clear? This award was created in 2016 only. It is not very old. This was created in 2016 only. Remember that too. All right. Moving forward, we have Norway chess champion Pragnananda, who became the first Indian. Pragnananda, who became the first Indian to win the prestigious Norway chess, defeating Vincent Keimer. Whom did he defeat? Vincent Keimer in the 10th and the final round. That was his victory. Yeah, that was his victory, that he defeated Vincent Keimer in the final round. And in the classical victories series, we remember the name. Yes, can you remember the name? All right. We have a practice question for you. Who became the first Indian to win Norway Chess 2026? Yeah, give us your answer in the comment section. Who became the first Indian to win the Norway Chess 2026? D. Gukesh, Arjun Erigaisai, R. Pragnananda, Vidit Gujarati. Yes, do we know the answer? Exactly. Another practice question for you. Who was conferred the UN Military Gender Advocate Award? Major Abhilasha Barak, Captain Shiva Chauhan, Lieutenant General Madhuri Kanatkar, Colonel Geeta Rana. Give us your answer in the comment section. All right, we know the answer. Major Abhilasha Barak. Very nice. What is the new base year of wholesale price index that has been revised from 2011 to 2012, and to which year have we revised this? Yeah, drop your answer in the comment section. All right, we've done it to 2022, 23. All right, yeah, that was about it. That was our weekly analysis of PIB. Now we will be doing this on a weekly basis along with a few more questions and complete weekly analysis of our PIB news, which is quite relevant these days. Yeah. All right. And this is our session. If you need the PDF for this, we need the access to the PDF. In the description, you've been given a link. And let us know your answers for the questions as well. And I hope you enjoyed the session. We'll see you in the next session. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.